In the vast, unforgiving expanse of the 41st millennium, where humanity's last bastion teeters on the brink of annihilation, lies an organization cloaked in shadows and whispers, the Imperial Inquisition. This enigmatic body, tasked with safeguarding mankind from threats both without and within, harbors secrets so profound they could unravel the very fabric of the Imperium of man. Across countless worlds, from the towering hive cities of manufacturing planets to the isolated outposts on the fringes of known space, the mere mention of the Inquisition sends shivers down the spines of Imperial citizens. Their agents move unseen, their authority absolute, their methods beyond question or reproach. Yet, for all their visible power, it is what remains hidden that truly defines the Inquisition's role in this dark future. Legends speak of vaults deep beneath the surface of Holy Terra, where forbidden knowledge from ages past lies sealed away from prying eyes. Ancient technologies capable of reshaping reality itself are said to be guarded by the most trusted members of the Inquisition's inner circle. The truth behind these rumors remains elusive, for those who seek such knowledge often disappear without a trace, their fates a chilling reminder of the price of curiosity. But the Inquisition's secrets extend far beyond mere artifacts and forgotten lore. Within their ranks, a silent war rages, a conflict of ideologies that could determine the future course of humanity. Radical inquisitors, driven by the belief that the ends justify the means, delve into heretical practices and Xenos technologies in their quest to safeguard mankind's future. Their Puritan counterparts view such actions with horror, advocating for a strict adherence to imperial dogma and the complete eradication of all that is deemed unclean. This ideological schism has led to countless shadow wars, with inquisitors turning their formidable resources against one another in battles unseen by the masses they are sworn to protect. Entire sectors have burned in these conflicts, sacrificed on the altar of competing visions for humanity's survival. The weight of untold millennia bears down upon these enigmatic figures, each decision potentially spelling doom or salvation for countless billions. From the highest echelons of imperial power to the lowliest underhive-ganger, none are beyond the reach of the Inquisition's all-seeing gaze. Planetary governors and Space Marine chapter masters alike have fallen before their judgment, their transgressions, real or perceived, wiped from imperial records. Yet, for all their efforts to maintain the veil of ignorance, fragments of forbidden lore continue to surface throughout the galaxy. Whispers of the Horus Heresy, that great civil war which nearly brought the Imperium to its knees, persist despite millennia of suppression. The true nature of the Emperor's ascension to the Golden Throne, the existence of traitor Primarchs, and the terrible threat posed by the forces of chaos, all these and more are secrets the Inquisition strives to keep from the teeming masses of humanity. But perhaps the greatest secret of all lies in the very nature of the Inquisition itself. Who truly directs this shadowy organization? What hidden agendas guide their actions? And to what lengths will they go to preserve the Imperium, even if it means sacrificing the very ideals they claim to uphold? As we delve deeper into the labyrinthine world of the Inquisition's hidden truths, we must ask ourselves, at what cost does the Imperium maintain its fragile grip on survival? What terrible price awaits those who dare to uncover the secrets that lie buried beneath the surface of this dark and unforgiving universe? And most chillingly of all, what horrors might be unleashed should these carefully guarded secrets ever come to light? In the grim darkness of the far future, where there is only war, the Inquisition stands as both humanity's shield and its potential downfall. Their secrets, locked away in blood-stained tomes and whispered in forgotten tongues, hold the power to save mankind or condemn it to eternal damnation. As we journey through the shadows of their clandestine world, we tread a razor's edge between enlightenment and heresy, never knowing which step might be our last. Amidst the vast tapestry of the Imperium's history, the Inquisition stands as a pillar of unwavering vigilance. Their significance transcends mere organizational boundaries, embodying the very essence of humanity's struggle for survival in a hostile universe. Established in the aftermath of the Horus Heresy, this secretive order emerged from the ashes of betrayal and devastation. Malcador the Sigillite, the Emperor's most trusted advisor, foresaw the need for an agency capable of rooting out threats from within and without. Thus, the Inquisition was born, its foundation built upon the blood and sacrifices of those dark days. Throughout the millennia, their influence has shaped the course of imperial history. Countless threats have been quelled before they could take root, entire worlds purged to prevent the spread of corruption. The Inquisition's actions, often brutal and always decisive, have time and again proven crucial in maintaining the fragile balance of power within the Imperium. Heresies that might have toppled sectors have been crushed in their infancy. Alien infiltrations capable of subverting entire populations have been detected and eliminated with ruthless efficiency. Even the insidious influence of chaos, ever-present and eternally corrupting, has found its advances stymied by the tireless efforts of the Inquisition's agents. Yet, their importance extends beyond mere reactionary measures. The Inquisition serves as the eyes and ears of the Imperium, gathering intelligence from every corner of the galaxy. This vast network of information allows them to anticipate threats before they fully materialize, guiding the deployment of Imperial forces with strategic precision. In the Byzantine politics of the Imperium, the Inquisition plays a unique role. Their authority, derived directly from the Emperor himself, allows them to operate outside the traditional chains of command. This autonomy enables swift action in times of crisis, bypassing the often cumbersome bureaucracy that plagues other imperial institutions. However, such power comes at a cost. The burden of knowledge weighs heavily upon the shoulders of every inquisitor. Decisions that could condemn billions to death must be made without hesitation, for in their eyes, the survival of humanity as a whole must always take precedence over individual lives. This unflinching dedication to their cause has earned the Inquisition both reverence and fear among the populace. To some, they are the embodiment of the Emperor's will, guardians standing against the encroaching darkness. To others, they represent a looming threat capable of destroying lives and worlds on mere suspicion. The Inquisition's role as keepers of forbidden knowledge further cements their critical position within the Imperium. Ancient technologies, Xenos artifacts, and warp-touched relics all fall under their purview. This arcane lore, while potentially beneficial, also poses grave dangers if misused or falling into the wrong hands. Maintaining the delicate balance between utilizing these resources for humanity's benefit and preventing their misuse is a constant struggle. Inquisitors must navigate treacherous waters, making judgments that could either save or doom entire sectors. Their decisions ripple through time, shaping the fate of the Imperium for generations to come. In times of great crisis, it is often the Inquisition that stands as the last line of defense. During events such as the Age of Apostasy or the Plague of Unbelief, their interventions proved pivotal in preserving the Imperium's integrity. Without their tireless vigilance, humanity might have long since succumbed to the myriad threats that assail it from all sides. The Ordo Malleus, tasked with combating the forces of chaos, wages an eternal war against the most insidious of foes. Their battles, often unseen and unsung, have prevented countless demonic incursions that could have laid waste to entire systems. The Grey Knights, their chamber militant, stand ready to face threats that would break the minds of lesser warriors. Similarly, the Ordo Xenos maintains constant vigil against alien menaces. From the swarming Tyranid hive fleets to the enigmatic Necron dynasties awakening from their ancient slumber, they coordinate the Imperium's responses to extraterrestrial threats. The Death Watch, their elite fighting force, embarks on missions that often determine the fate of entire worlds. The Ordo Hereticus, perhaps the most feared of all, turns its gaze inward, rooting out corruption, mutation, and heresy from within the Imperium's own ranks. They ensure that humanity's vast empire does not crumble from within. Their actions, while often controversial, are deemed necessary to maintain the purity of the imperial creed. As guardians of humanity's darkest secrets, the Inquisition plays a crucial role in shaping the narrative of imperial history. Through careful manipulation of information, they control what is known and what remains hidden. This power to rewrite reality itself ensures that the masses remain focused on their duties, unburdened by truths that might shatter their faith or resolve. In the grand tapestry of the Imperium's future, the threads woven by the Inquisition are both subtle and profound. Their actions, shrouded in mystery and often misunderstood, continue to guide humanity through the treacherous waters of a hostile universe. As long as the Imperium endures, so too will the Inquisition stand vigil, ever watchful, ever ready to face the darkness that threatens to engulf all of mankind. Tracing the origins of the Inquisition leads us into the darkest chapter of imperial history, the Horus Heresy. This cataclysmic civil war, which nearly tore the fledgling Imperium asunder, laid the groundwork for the organization's creation. Amid the chaos and betrayal, the Emperor of Mankind and his most trusted advisor, Malcador the Sigillite, recognized the need for a force capable of safeguarding humanity from threats both external and internal. Foundations of vigilance were laid in the fires of treachery. As the War Master Horus led his traitorous legions against the Emperor, Malcador began to assemble a group of loyal and skilled individuals. These chosen few, drawn from various backgrounds, would form the core of what would eventually become the Inquisition. Secrecy shrouded the organization's inception. Even as the fate of humanity hung in the balance, Malcador worked tirelessly to establish the framework for this new order. His foresight proved invaluable, as he understood that the threats facing the Imperium would not end with Horus's defeat. From the ashes of betrayal rose an institution unlike any other. In the aftermath of the heresy, as the Emperor lay interred upon the Golden Throne, the Inquisition emerged into a galaxy forever changed. Their mandate, given by the Emperor himself through Malcador, was clear: protect humanity at all costs. Initial resistance to the Inquisition's authority was swiftly overcome. Many within the imperial hierarchy, still reeling from the devastating effects of the heresy, saw the need for such an organization. Others, more skeptical of this new power, found themselves unable to challenge the Inquisition's credentials, the seal of the Emperor himself. Cultural shifts accompanied the Inquisition's rise to prominence. As knowledge of their existence spread, a culture of paranoia and vigilance began to take root across imperial worlds. Citizens learned to be ever watchful for signs of heresy or corruption, knowing that the consequences of complacency could be dire. Political landscapes were reshaped by the Inquisition's influence. Traditional power structures found themselves subject to a new, overarching authority. Planetary governors and sector lords alike discovered that their rule was no longer absolute. The watchful eye of the Inquisition was ever present. Militarily, the Inquisition's impact was profound. While not a formal part of the imperial military structure, their ability to requisition forces and direct military actions gave them unprecedented strategic flexibility. This capability would prove crucial in the face of the myriad threats that would emerge in the millennia to come. Technological advancements fell under the Inquisition's purview. Recognizing the double-edged nature of progress, they took it upon themselves to monitor and control the development and distribution of new technologies. This often put them at odds with the Adeptus Mechanicus, leading to a complex relationship between the two organizations. Religious doctrine evolved under the Inquisition's guidance. As guardians of imperial truth, they played a key role in shaping the narrative of the Emperor's divinity. The imperial cult, which would eventually become the state religion of the Imperium, was carefully nurtured and directed to serve as a unifying force for humanity. Xenos relations were fundamentally altered by the Inquisition's policies. Where once there might have been room for diplomacy or coexistence, the Inquisition advocated for a hardline stance against all alien life. This approach, born from the bitter lessons of the heresy, would define imperial policy for millennia. warp study became a closely guarded field under inquisitorial supervision. Understanding the dangers posed by the Immaterium, the Inquisition took great pains to ensure that knowledge of the warp and its denizens was tightly controlled. Only those deemed strong enough to resist its corrupting influence were allowed to delve into its mysteries. Organizational structure of the Inquisition evolved over time. Initially a loose association of like-minded individuals, it gradually developed into a more formalized institution. The creation of the Ordo Malleus, Ordo Xenos, and Ordo Hereticus marked significant milestones in this evolution, each focused on combating specific threats to the Imperium. Training methods for new Inquisitors were established and refined. Recognizing the immense responsibility placed upon their shoulders, the Inquisition developed rigorous selection and training processes. Only those who proved themselves both mentally and physically capable were entrusted with the Inquisitorial Rosette. Artifacts of immense power came under the Inquisition's guardianship. Ancient relics, Xenos technology, and weapons of unimaginable destruction all fell within their remit. The responsibility of safeguarding these items, while also studying and, when necessary, utilizing them, became a core part of the Inquisition's duties. Psychic phenomena received particular attention from the fledgling organization. As the psychic awakening of humanity continued, the Inquisition took a leading role in identifying and managing psychic individuals. This led to the establishment of close ties with the Adeptus Astra Telepathica and the creation of specialized inquisitorial units dedicated to psychic warfare. Centuries passed, and the Inquisition's influence grew. What began as a small group of dedicated individuals expanded into a vast network spanning the entire Imperium. Their reach extended to every corner of human-controlled space, their agents operating in plain sight and deep undercover. Legends and myths sprang up around the Inquisition. Tales of their deeds, both heroic and terrifying, spread throughout the Imperium. To the average citizen, they became figures of awe and fear, their very name enough to inspire dread or reverence. Thus, from the crucible of the Imperium's darkest hour, the Inquisition emerged as a force that would shape the course of human history for millennia to come. Their origins, rooted in necessity and forged in conflict, set the stage for an organization unlike any other, one that would stand as humanity's first and last line of defense against the darkness that threatens to engulf it. Centuries unfolded, each bringing new challenges that tested the Inquisition's resolve and shaped its evolution. The Age of Apostasy marked a pivotal moment in Imperial history, with the Inquisition playing a crucial role in its resolution. Goga van Dyer's reign of terror, lasting for 7 decades, saw the perversion of imperial institutions and the near collapse of the Imperium's power structure. Inquisitorial forces, working in tandem with the Adeptus Mechanicus and loyal Space Marine chapters, orchestrated Van Dyer's downfall. This period highlighted the Inquisition's ability to act as a check against corruption at the highest levels of imperial governance. In the aftermath, the organization's influence grew exponentially, cementing its position as a bulwark against internal threats. Xenos incursions across the millennia repeatedly demonstrated the Inquisition's vital role in safeguarding humanity. The Ghoul Stars incident, shrouded in secrecy, saw inquisitorial agents uncover and neutralize a threat so dire that all records were subsequently purged. Whispers of reality-altering technologies and time-bending Xenos artifacts persist, hinting at the true scope of the danger averted. Tyrannid hive fleets, each posing an existential threat to the Imperium, became a primary focus of inquisitorial efforts. The fall of Tyran, marking humanity's first encounter with this extra-galactic menace, prompted a massive mobilization of inquisitorial resources. Subsequent hive fleet invasions saw the Inquisition coordinating unprecedented military responses, often making hard choices to contain the Tyrannid advance at the cost of countless lives. Chaos incursions repeatedly tested the Inquisition's mettle. The 13th Black Crusade, led by Abaddon the Despoiler, saw inquisitorial forces working tirelessly to uncover and thwart the War Master's plans. Their efforts, though unable to prevent the fall of Cadia, were instrumental in coordinating the Imperium's defense and gathering crucial intelligence that would prove vital in the conflicts to come. Necron awakenings across the galaxy presented a unique challenge. The Inquisition's Ordo Xenos found itself at the forefront of efforts to understand and combat this ancient threat. The Orphean War, triggered by the rise of the Maynarch dynasty, saw Inquisitors making difficult alliances and unearthing long-buried secrets in their desperate bid to stem the Necron tide. Demonic incursions, ever a threat to Imperial stability, saw the Ordo Malleus working in close conjunction with the Grey Knights. The First War for Armageddon stands as a testament to the Inquisition's ruthlessness in containing chaos corruption. The subsequent purge and quarantine of the surviving population showcased the lengths to which the organization would go to maintain the Imperium's security. Internal schisms within the Inquisition itself shaped its trajectory. The Harusian controversy, a philosophical divide centered around the use of chaos power against itself, led to centuries of covert conflict among Inquisitors. This ideological battle, largely hidden from the wider Imperium, resulted in purges, assassinations, and the destruction of entire worlds caught in the crossfire. Technological discoveries repeatedly fell under inquisitorial scrutiny. The uncovering of the STC for the Land Raider Crusader on Mars led to a protracted negotiation between the Inquisition and the Adeptus Mechanicus. This event highlighted the delicate balance between technological progress and the need for control, a recurring theme in the Inquisition's dealings with the Mechanicum. Psychic awakenings across human populations necessitated swift inquisitorial action. The months of shame following the First War for Armageddon saw conflict erupt between the Inquisition and the Space Wolves chapter, centered around the treatment of potentially tainted civilians. This clash emphasized the moral complexities faced by the Inquisition in fulfilling its duty. Radical Inquisitor Cryptman's controversial strategy against the Tyranid threat marked a turning point in inquisitorial doctrine. His decision to enact a scorched earth policy, sacrificing billions to redirect a hive fleet, sparked fierce debate within the organization. The subsequent censure of Cryptman highlighted the limits of acceptable action, even in the face of existential threats. Encounters with the Eldari repeatedly tested inquisitorial policies regarding Xenos interactions. The Craftworld Eondin's assistance during the Noctis Aeterna, when the Great Rift split the galaxy, forced many Inquisitors to reassess their stance on potential alien alliances. This shift in perspective would have far-reaching consequences for future inquisitorial operations. Revelations about the nature of the Golden Throne and the Emperor's dwindling power sent shockwaves through inquisitorial ranks. Top-secret missions to uncover alternative means of sustaining the Emperor led to dangerous expeditions into uncharted regions of space and forays into forbidden technologies. The stakes of these covert operations, known only to a select few, could not be higher. Warp storms of unprecedented scale reshaped inquisitorial strategies. The Cicatrix Maledictum's appearance necessitated a complete overhaul of established protocols. Inquisitors found themselves adapting to a galaxy split in two, often cut off from traditional lines of communication and support. This new reality bred a generation of more independent and resourceful Inquisitors. Primaris Space Marines, a closely guarded secret of the Adeptus Mechanicus, came to light under inquisitorial scrutiny. The integration of these enhanced warriors into existing chapters became a matter of intense debate within the Inquisition. Questions of genetic purity and potential corruption led to increased surveillance of Primaris operations across the Imperium. Ancient prophecies, long held in inquisitorial vaults, began to show signs of fulfillment. The return of Robut Guilliman as Imperial Regent sent ripples through the organization. Inquisitors found themselves navigating a shifting political landscape, balancing their traditional autonomy with the new realities of a more directly governed Imperium. Secretive wars against time-bending entities pushed the boundaries of inquisitorial influence. Operations against the Hrud, a Xeno species capable of manipulating the flow of time, saw Inquisitors delving into technologies and tactics previously deemed too dangerous to contemplate. The consequences of these engagements remain classified at the highest levels. Thus, through millennia of conflict, discovery, and internal strife, the Inquisition has been forged into an organization unlike any other. Each key event, each crisis faced and overcome, has added another layer to its complex history. As new threats emerge and old dangers resurface, the Inquisition stands ready, its secrets both a shield and a weapon in humanity's eternal struggle for survival. Delving into the intricate workings of the Inquisition reveals a complex tapestry of motivations, methods, and consequences. At its core, this enigmatic organization operates on a foundation of absolute dedication to humanity's survival, yet the means by which it pursues this goal often tread a fine line between necessity and excess. Motivations driving inquisitorial actions stem from a deep-seated belief in humanity's manifest destiny to rule the galaxy. This conviction, born from the Emperor's vision of a human-dominated universe, shapes every decision made by the organization. Inquisitors view themselves as the ultimate guardians of this destiny, willing to make sacrifices that others cannot or will not contemplate. Secrecy permeates every aspect of inquisitorial operations. This culture of clandestine activity serves multiple purposes. It protects sensitive information from falling into enemy hands, shields the wider Imperium from truths deemed too dangerous for public consumption, and maintains the aura of mystery that surrounds the organization. However, this secrecy also breeds suspicion and fear, both within the Imperium and among the Inquisition's own ranks. Methodologies employed by the Inquisition vary widely, reflecting the diverse backgrounds and ideologies of its members. Some Inquisitors favor subtle manipulation, working through networks of informants and agents to achieve their goals. Others adopt more direct approaches, wielding their authority openly to commandeer resources and enact swift justice. This diversity of tactics allows the Inquisition to adapt to a wide range of threats, but it also leads to internal conflicts over best practices and acceptable limits. Radical factions within the Inquisition push the boundaries of what is considered permissible in the defense of humanity. These Inquisitors argue that to combat the myriad threats facing the Imperium, one must be willing to use every tool available, even those traditionally deemed heretical. This philosophy has led to experiments with Xenos technology, attempts to harness the power of chaos, and other highly controversial practices. While these methods have occasionally yielded results, they have also resulted in catastrophic failures that threaten the very fabric of the Imperium. Puritanical elements, in contrast, adhere strictly to orthodox imperial doctrine. These Inquisitors believe that any deviation from established practices represents a slippery slope toward corruption. They advocate for a zero-tolerance policy toward heresy, mutation, and Xenos influence. While this hardline stance provides a bulwark against insidious threats, it can also lead to excessive purges and the loss of potentially valuable resources or allies. Psychological toll on Inquisitors themselves is immense. Constantly exposed to the darkest aspects of the universe, forced to make decisions that condemn millions to death, many Inquisitors struggle with the weight of their responsibilities. Some find solace in faith, others in the conviction that their actions, however terrible, are necessary for the greater good. A significant number, however, succumb to paranoia, megalomania, or other psychological disorders, their minds warped by the burdens they bear. Recruitment practices of the Inquisition remain shrouded in mystery. Potential candidates are drawn from all walks of life, chosen for their intelligence, loyalty, and mental fortitude. The training process is grueling, designed to test candidates to their absolute limits. Many aspirants do not survive this process, either failing to meet the exacting standards or breaking under the psychological strain. Those who do emerge are forever changed, molded into weapons in humanity's arsenal. Technological assets at the Inquisition's disposal often far exceed those available to other imperial organizations. Access to ancient archaeotech, experimental weaponry, and even carefully controlled Xenos artifacts gives Inquisitors a significant edge in their operations. However, the use of such advanced technology is a double-edged sword, carrying with it the risk of malfunction, corruption, or unintended consequences that could spell disaster on a planetary scale. Psychic abilities play a crucial role in many inquisitorial operations. Psychers within the Inquisition's ranks serve as powerful tools for gathering intelligence, combating warp-based threats, and even predicting future events. The dangers associated with these abilities, including the ever-present risk of demonic possession, necessitate strict controls and constant vigilance. Political maneuvering forms a significant part of an Inquisitor's duties. Navigating the labyrinthine power structures of the Imperium requires a deft touch and a keen understanding of human nature. Inquisitors must balance their need for autonomy with the necessity of cooperation with other Imperial institutions. This delicate dance of alliances and rivalries often determines the success or failure of crucial operations. Moral quandaries are a constant companion to those within the Inquisition. The organization's motto, "The end justifies the means," is put to the test time and again. Inquisitors must grapple with questions of proportionality, weighing the cost in lives and resources against the magnitude of the threat faced. These decisions, made in the heat of crisis, can haunt an Inquisitor for centuries. Long-term consequences of inquisitorial actions ripple through the Imperium's history. Worlds subjected to exterminatus, sectors quarantined due to suspected corruption, and entire populations mind-wiped to protect secret knowledge. All these leave indelible marks on the galaxy. The full impact of these decisions may not be felt for generations, leading to unforeseen complications and challenges for future Inquisitors to face. Interpersonal relationships within the Inquisition are complex and often fraught with tension. While some Inquisitors form close-knit cabals, pooling their resources and expertise, others prefer to operate alone, trusting no one fully. Mentorship between experienced Inquisitors and their acolytes can forge strong bonds, but it can also lead to the perpetuation of dangerous ideologies or practices. Accountability, or the lack thereof, remains a contentious issue surrounding the Inquisition. With authority stemming directly from the Emperor, Inquisitors are theoretically answerable only to him. In practice, a system of checks and balances has evolved within the organization, with Inquisitors policing their own ranks. However, the effectiveness of this self-regulation is often questioned, particularly in light of high-profile abuses of power. Future challenges facing the Inquisition loom large on the horizon. The emergence of new threats, the shifting balance of power within the Imperium, and the ever-present danger of corruption from within all promise to test the organization's adaptability and resolve. As the galaxy enters an era of unprecedented turmoil, the role of the Inquisition in shaping humanity's fate has never been more crucial or more contentious. In the final analysis, the Inquisition stands as both humanity's shield and its potential downfall. Its actions, shrouded in secrecy and often misunderstood, continue to shape the course of Imperial history. As long as threats to humanity's dominion persist, so too will the Inquisition endure, its methods evolving, its purpose unchanging, to safeguard mankind's future no matter the cost. Within the labyrinthine structure of the Imperium, the Inquisition stands at the center of a complex web of alliances, rivalries, and conflicts. Its far-reaching influence and secretive nature inevitably lead to friction with various factions, both within and outside the organization. Radical Inquisitors form a controversial faction within the Inquisition itself. These individuals believe in using any means necessary to combat the enemies of mankind, even if it means employing Xenos technology or harnessing the powers of chaos. Their methods, while often effective, blur the lines between protector and heretic, leading to intense debates and sometimes open conflict with their more conservative peers. Puritanical factions, in stark contrast, adhere rigidly to orthodox imperial doctrine. They view any deviation from established practices as a potential path to corruption. This hardline stance often puts them at odds not only with radical inquisitors, but also with other imperial organizations that may seek more pragmatic solutions to the Imperium's many challenges. Adeptus Mechanicus frequently finds itself in a delicate dance with the Inquisition. While both organizations share a commitment to humanity's survival, their approaches and priorities often differ. The Mechanicus's pursuit of technological knowledge sometimes clashes with the Inquisition's need to control and suppress dangerous information. Conflicts over newly discovered archaeotech or the development of potentially heretical innovations are not uncommon. Space Marine chapters maintain a complex relationship with the Inquisition. While many chapters work closely with Inquisitors, providing vital support in combating threats to the Imperium, others view the organization with suspicion. The autonomy enjoyed by Space Marines sometimes leads to tension, particularly when inquisitorial authority conflicts with the chapter's own traditions or judgment. Ecclesiarchy, as the official state church of the Imperium, often finds its interests intersecting with those of the Inquisition. While both institutions are dedicated to maintaining the imperial creed, their methods and interpretations can vary widely. Inquisitors of the Ordo Hereticus keep a watchful eye on the Ecclesiarchy, ever vigilant for signs of corruption or the emergence of false prophets within its ranks. Astra Militarum commanders frequently chafe under inquisitorial oversight. The sudden appearance of an inquisitor can throw carefully laid military plans into disarray, as entire regiments are requisitioned or strategic objectives are altered to serve the Inquisition's often inscrutable purposes. This can lead to resentment and, in extreme cases, open defiance of inquisitorial authority. Navigators' houses, crucial to warp travel, occupy a unique position in their dealings with the Inquisition. Their indispensable role in maintaining the Imperium's interstellar communications and transport affords them a degree of protection, but also places them under intense scrutiny. The Inquisition keeps a close watch on navigator bloodlines, ever wary of mutation or chaos influence. Rogue traders, operating on the fringes of imperial space, often find themselves both allies and adversaries of the Inquisition. Their exploratory missions can provide valuable intelligence on Xenos threats and lost human colonies. However, their semi-autonomous status and frequent contact with alien civilizations make them objects of suspicion for many inquisitors. Adeptus Arbites, responsible for enforcing imperial law, occasionally clash with the Inquisition over matters of jurisdiction. While both organizations are dedicated to maintaining order, the Inquisition's broad authority can supersede local law enforcement efforts, leading to friction and sometimes compromised investigations. Officio Assassinorum maintains a symbiotic yet tense relationship with the Inquisition. Both organizations deal in secrets and clandestine operations, often working towards similar goals. However, the potential for either group to turn its formidable capabilities against the other results in a careful balance of cooperation and wariness. Xenos races, particularly those like the Aeldari or Tau, represent a complex challenge for the Inquisition. While official policy dictates unwavering hostility towards all alien life, some Inquisitors recognize the potential benefits of limited cooperation or exchange of information. This pragmatic approach, however, is viewed as dangerous heresy by many of their peers. And Chaos forces stand as the Inquisition's most implacable foe. The eternal struggle against the ruinous powers shapes much of the organization's doctrine and practices. Yet, the insidious nature of Chaos corruption means that the Inquisition must be ever vigilant, for the enemy may lurk within its own ranks. Genestealer cults pose a unique threat that often pits different factions within the Inquisition against each other. The insidious nature of these Xenos infiltrators requires subtle investigation techniques, while the potential for widespread contamination demands swift and decisive action. Balancing these competing needs can lead to conflict between Inquisitors favoring different approaches. Adeptus Astra Telepathica, responsible for training and controlling psychers, works closely with the Inquisition while also being subject to its oversight. The vital role of psychic abilities in combating warp-based threats makes this relationship crucial, yet the ever-present dangers associated with psychic powers ensure that it remains fraught with tension. Planetary governors often find themselves at odds with inquisitorial agents operating within their domains. The arrival of an inquisitor can upend local power structures and long-standing traditions. Some governors attempt to curry favor with the Inquisition, while others resist what they see as unwarranted interference in their affairs. Internal factions within the Inquisition itself lead to some of the most bitter conflicts. Philosophical differences over methodology, interpretations of the Emperor's will, and debates over the true nature of humanity's role in the galaxy can escalate into shadow wars that span sectors and centuries. These internal struggles, hidden from the wider Imperium, can have far-reaching consequences for Imperial policy and the fate of entire worlds. Ordo Xenos, Ordo Malleus, and Ordo Hereticus, while united under the Inquisitorial banner, often find their priorities and methods at odds. Competition for resources, conflicting assessments of threats, and overlapping jurisdictions can lead to friction between these major ordos. The necessity of maintaining a united front against the Imperium's enemies usually prevents open conflict, but behind-the-scenes maneuvering is constant. Lastly, the common citizens of the Imperium have a complex relationship with the Inquisition. To most, Inquisitors are figures of legend, embodiments of the Emperor's justice. Fear and reverence in equal measure greet the appearance of an inquisitorial seal. Yet those who have witnessed the aftermath of inquisitorial purges or survived interrogation may harbor resentment or outright hatred for the organization, seeing it as a force of oppression rather than protection. This intricate web of relationships, alliances, and conflicts shapes the Inquisition's role within the Imperium. Each interaction, each clash of ideologies or interests, adds another layer to the organization's enigmatic nature. As threats to humanity continue to evolve, so too does the Inquisition's position relative to other imperial institutions and the myriad foes that seek to undermine mankind's dominion over the stars. Amidst the swirling chaos of a galaxy torn asunder, the Inquisition finds itself at a crossroads of monumental importance. Centuries of secrets, carefully guarded and fiercely protected, now teeter on the brink of exposure. The very foundations of this enigmatic organization tremble as forces both internal and external converge, threatening to shatter the carefully constructed facade that has long shielded the Imperium from terrible truths. Deep within the labyrinthine vaults of Terra, ancient cogitators hum to life, their machine spirits awakening after millennia of dormancy. Encrypted data, locked away since the dark days of the Horus Heresy, begins to filter through long unused channels. Inquisitors across the galaxy receive fragmented transmissions, each piece a tantalizing glimpse into the organization's shrouded origins. Simultaneously, on the fringes of known space, an Ordo Xenos expedition stumbles upon the ruins of a long-lost human colony. Amidst the detritus of a fallen civilization, they uncover evidence of extensive inquisitorial activity predating the official founding of the organization. This discovery sends shockwaves through the upper echelons of the Inquisition, raising questions about the true extent of their history and purpose. Radical factions within the Inquisition seize upon these revelations, seeing them as vindication for their unorthodox methods. They argue that if the Inquisition's own origins are shrouded in secrecy and potential heresy, then no avenue should be closed in the pursuit of humanity's protection. This ideological schism deepens, threatening to tear the organization apart from within. Meanwhile, the Adeptus Mechanicus intercepts fragments of the encrypted data spreading through inquisitorial networks. Their attempts to decipher this information lead to a series of catastrophic machine spirit rebellions across several Forge worlds. As production grinds to a halt and vital supply lines are severed, suspicion falls upon the Inquisition, straining the already tenuous relationship between the two organizations. In the depths of the warp, the ruinous powers stir, sensing the turmoil brewing within one of humanity's most powerful institutions. Chaos agents, long embedded within the Inquisition's ranks, begin to move more openly, sowing discord and confusion. The line between necessary secrecy and dangerous paranoia blurs, as Inquisitors find themselves unable to trust even their closest allies. High Lords of Terra demand answers as reports of inquisitorial infighting and mysterious data breaches reach their ears. For the first time in millennia, the Inquisition finds itself on the defensive, struggling to maintain its autonomy in the face of increasing scrutiny from other imperial institutions. The delicate balance of power that has long defined the Imperium's governance begins to shift unpredictably. Amidst this turmoil, a group of senior Inquisitors convenes in secret, determined to uncover the truth behind the fragmented transmissions and archaeological discoveries. Their investigation leads them to a forgotten world on the edge of the Ghoul Stars, a place steeped in eldritch energies and temporal distortions. Here, they believe, lies the key to understanding the Inquisition's true origins and purpose. As this cabal of Inquisitors delves deeper into forbidden lore, they begin to unravel a tapestry of lies and half-truths that stretches back to the very founding of the Imperium. Evidence mounts suggesting that the Emperor himself may have foreseen the need for the Inquisition long before the Horus Heresy, planting the seeds of the organization throughout his vast dominion as a final safeguard against the darkness to come. Revelations about the nature of the Golden Throne and the Emperor's dwindling power coincide with these discoveries, adding urgency to the Inquisition's internal crisis. Some within the organization argue that the time has come to enact contingency plans long held in reserve, while others counsel caution, fearing that hasty action could doom humanity as surely as inaction. Across the Imperium, signs and portents proliferate. Astropaths report an increase in warp disturbances, while navigators speak of shifting currents in the immaterium that defy explanation. On countless worlds, unrest simmers as populations sense the tension gripping their rulers. Rumors of inquisitorial purges and dark conspiracies spread like wildfire, fueling paranoia and rebellion in equal measure. The return of Robert Guilliman as Lord Commander of the Imperium adds another layer of complexity to the unfolding drama. His presence forces the Inquisition to reassess its role in a rapidly changing galaxy. Some Inquisitors see the Primarch as a potential ally in their quest for truth, while others view him as a threat to their autonomy and the careful balance they have maintained for millennia. As the cabal of senior Inquisitors nears the end of their investigation, they make a startling discovery that threatens to reshape the very nature of the Inquisition. Hidden within the Emperor's most secure vaults on Terra lies a device of unimaginable power, a fail-safe mechanism designed to unleash a second golden age of humanity, but at a terrible cost. The decision of whether to activate this device falls to the Inquisition, a burden that could split the organization irrevocably. Tension reaches a boiling point as different factions within the Inquisition clash over how to proceed. Radical elements advocate for immediate action, arguing that the device represents humanity's best hope for survival in an increasingly hostile galaxy. Puritanical factions staunchly oppose any use of technology that smacks of heresy or deviation from the Emperor's perceived will. The fate of the Imperium hangs in the balance as these ideological battles play out in the shadows. Unexpected allies emerge as the crisis deepens. Elements within the Adeptus Mechanicus, driven by an insatiable hunger for knowledge, offer their support to those Inquisitors seeking to uncover the full truth of their organization's origins. This alliance, while fraught with danger, provides access to resources and expertise crucial to understanding the ancient fail-safe device. In a stunning turn of events, a conclave of Inquisitor lords gathers in the depths of the Imperial Palace, their deliberations shielded from prying eyes by technologies not seen since the Dark Age of technology. Here, in the shadow of the Golden Throne itself, they weigh the consequences of their discoveries and debate the future course of the Inquisition. As the conclave reaches its climax, the very fabric of reality seems to tremble. Psychic shock waves ripple across the galaxy, sensed by astropaths and psychers alike. In this moment of ultimate decision, the Inquisition stands poised to either reinvent itself for a new age or tear itself apart in a cataclysm that could leave the Imperium vulnerable to its myriad enemies. The fate of humanity rests in the hands of an organization born in secrecy, tempered by millennia of harsh necessity, and now forced into the light by the weight of its own hidden truths. As the galaxy holds its breath, the Inquisition faces its greatest test, one that will determine not only its own future, but that of the entire Imperium of man. In the wake of the tumultuous events that shook the Inquisition to its core, the Imperium of man finds itself irrevocably changed. Ripples of consequence spread across the galaxy, reshaping alliances, shattering long-held beliefs, and ushering in an era of unprecedented uncertainty. Fragmentation within the Inquisition becomes immediately apparent. The organization, once a monolithic entity, splinters into numerous factions, each claiming to represent the true vision of the Emperor's will. This internal strife weakens the Inquisition's ability to respond swiftly to external threats, leaving gaps in the Imperium's defenses that its enemies are quick to exploit. Radical elements, emboldened by the revelations of the Inquisition's complex origins, push for sweeping reforms. They argue for greater transparency and a re-evaluation of long-standing prohibitions on certain technologies and practices. This ideological shift leads to a surge in unorthodox operations, some yielding remarkable successes against Xenos and Chaos threats, while others result in catastrophic failures that devastate entire sectors. Puritanical factions, in response, double down on their conservative stance. Viewing the turmoil as a sign of corruption, they launch a series of internal purges aimed at rooting out perceived heresy within the Inquisition's ranks. These actions, while intended to restore order, further destabilize the organization and erode trust between its members. Knowledge of the ancient failsafe device discovered beneath Terra becomes a closely guarded secret, known only to a select few at the highest echelons of Imperial power. Debate rages among this inner circle about whether to activate the device, with proponents arguing that it represents humanity's last hope for survival, while detractors warn of unforeseen consequences that could doom the species. Robert Guilliman, sensing the turmoil within the Inquisition, moves to assert greater control over the organization. His efforts meet with mixed success, as some Inquisitors welcome the Primarch's guidance, while others resist what they see as an infringement on their traditional autonomy. This tension between centralized authority and individual freedom of action becomes a defining feature of the post-crisis Inquisition. Adeptus Mechanicus, having gained access to fragments of the Inquisition's hidden lore, experiences its own upheaval. New techno-heretical sects emerge, challenging the orthodoxy of the cult Mechanicus with interpretations of machine spirits and the Omnissiah influenced by inquisitorial secrets. Mars becomes a battleground of ideas, with rival factions vying for control of Forge worlds and ancient archaeotech vaults. Chaos forces, ever opportunistic, launch a series of coordinated attacks across the Imperium, targeting worlds and institutions weakened by the Inquisition's disarray. These incursions test the resilience of Imperial defenses and force disparate factions to set aside their differences in the face of existential threats. The lines between necessity and heresy blur as desperate measures are taken to stem the tide of chaos. Xenos races observe the Imperium's internal struggles with a mixture of concern and opportunism. Eldari seers, glimpsing possible futures shaped by the Inquisition's crisis, move to manipulate events to their advantage. Tau diplomats renew their efforts to exploit divisions within human society, offering alliances to beleaguered Imperial worlds in exchange for concessions and influence. Planetary governors and sector lords, sensing a shift in the balance of power, begin to assert greater independence from Terra. Some use the confusion to settle old scores or expand their territories, while others form coalitions for mutual protection in the face of waning central authority. This fragmentation of Imperial unity presents both challenges and opportunities for the Reformed Inquisition. Ecclesiarchy finds itself grappling with a crisis of faith as rumors of the Inquisition's hidden truths filter down to the masses. Competing interpretations of the Emperor's will proliferate, leading to schisms and heresies that threaten the spiritual cohesion of the Imperium. Inquisitors of the Ordo Hereticus find themselves overwhelmed by the scale of religious unrest, forced to prioritize threats in a way that leaves many issues unaddressed. Warp storms of unprecedented intensity sweep across the galaxy, perhaps in response to the psychic shockwaves generated by the Inquisition's internal conflict. Navigator houses report increasing difficulty in charting safe passages through the Immaterium, leading to delays in reinforcements and supply lines that further strain Imperial resources. Recruiting practices for the Inquisition undergo significant changes. The need for fresh perspectives and innovative thinking leads to a more diverse pool of candidates being considered for induction. This influx of new blood brings with it both renewed vigor and the potential for further ideological conflicts as traditionalists clash with reformers. Technological advancements, spurred by the partial lifting of certain restrictions, begin to filter through Imperial society. While these innovations offer new tools in humanity's struggle for survival, they also bring unforeseen complications. Incidents of machine spirit rebellion and tech heresy increase, keeping the Ordo Mechanicus in a constant state of vigilance. Psychic awakening among human populations accelerates, possibly influenced by the revelations and conflicts within the Inquisition. This surge in psychic potential presents both opportunities and dangers as the Imperium struggles to identify and train these emerging psychers before they fall prey to chaos, corruption, or worse. Inquisitorial methods and practices evolve in response to the changing galactic landscape. Greater emphasis is placed on information sharing and collaborative operations, though the deeply ingrained culture of secrecy proves difficult to overcome entirely. New specialized ordos emerge, dedicated to addressing threats unique to this turbulent era. Long-dormant contingency plans, laid down by far-sighted inquisitors of the past, are activated in response to the unfolding crisis. These protocols, designed to preserve essential knowledge and resources in the event of a catastrophic breakdown of Imperial authority, provide a measure of stability in some sectors even as others fall into chaos. Efforts to rebuild trust between the Inquisition and other Imperial institutions yield mixed results. While some organizations welcome the opportunity for greater cooperation, others remain wary, scarred by past experiences with inquisitorial heavy-handedness. This complex web of alliances and suspicions shapes the political landscape of the post-crisis Imperium. As the dust settles on this period of upheaval, the Inquisition emerges transformed. No longer a shadowy monolith, it becomes a more diverse and dynamic entity, better adapted in some ways to face the challenges of a rapidly changing galaxy. Yet, with this evolution comes new vulnerabilities and uncertainties that will test the organization's resolve in the years to come. The Imperium, having weathered this internal storm, finds itself at a crossroads. The revelations and conflicts surrounding the Inquisition have laid bare both the strengths and weaknesses of humanity's galactic dominion. As new threats loom on the horizon, the reshaped Inquisition stands ready to face them, armed with ancient wisdom and forged anew in the crucible of its own hidden truths. Reverberations from the Inquisition's internal crisis echo across the Imperium, reshaping destinies and altering the course of galactic events. Key figures and factions find themselves navigating a changed landscape, their actions and decisions influenced by the upheaval within one of the Imperium's most powerful institutions. Robut Guilliman, Primarch of the Ultramarines and Lord Commander of the Imperium, faces new challenges in his efforts to reform and strengthen humanity's realm. The fragmentation of the Inquisition forces him to reconsider his strategies for unifying the Imperium. Guilliman leverages the situation to implement broader reforms, using the disarray as an opportunity to streamline Imperial bureaucracy and military command structures. Belisarius Cawl, Archmagos Dominus of the Adeptus Mechanicus, finds his position both strengthened and imperiled by the revelations. Access to previously hidden inquisitorial lore accelerates his research into Primaris Space Marines and other advanced technologies. However, the upheaval also emboldens his rivals within the Mechanicus, leading to increased scrutiny of his more radical experiments. Chaos Primarchs, particularly Abaddon the Despoiler, seize upon the Imperium's moment of weakness. Launching a series of devastating Black Crusades, they probe Imperial defenses for vulnerabilities created by the Inquisition's disarray. These incursions force disparate Imperial factions to set aside their differences, leading to unlikely alliances and desperate last stands across multiple sectors. Eldrad Ulthron, Farseer of Craftworld Ulthwé, perceives new paths in the tangled skein of fate following the Inquisition's crisis. His manipulations become more overt as he seeks to guide human actions towards outcomes beneficial to the Eldari. This increased involvement in human affairs leads to both cooperation and conflict with various inquisitorial factions. Gazkul Mag Uruk Thraka, the infamous Orc warlord, finds his Wag, gaining momentum as Imperial forces struggle to present a united front. Worlds left vulnerable by redeployed inquisitorial assets fall to the green tide, creating new headaches for Imperial strategists and opportunities for ambitious Orc war bosses to prove their might. Shadowsun, Supreme Commander of the Toh Empire's military forces, adjusts her expansionist strategies in light of the Imperium's internal strife. Diplomatic overtures to human worlds increase, offering protection and technological advancements in exchange for allegiance to the greater good. These efforts meet with mixed success, but further complicate the Imperium's efforts to maintain cohesion. Inquisitor Greyfax, one of the most renowned members of the Ordo Hereticus, finds herself at a crossroads. Her unwavering faith in Imperial doctrine clashes with the new realities exposed by recent events. Greyfax's internal struggle becomes emblematic of the wider conflicts within the Inquisition, influencing younger Inquisitors and shaping the organization's future direction. Kiafas Kane, the notorious Commissar, encounters new challenges as morale within the Imperial Guard wavers in the face of uncertainty. His exploits during this tumultuous period become the stuff of legend, inspiring troops across the Imperium and inadvertently influencing inquisitorial recruitment practices as they seek individuals capable of adapting to rapidly changing circumstances. Trazyn the Infinite, the enigmatic Necron collector, takes a keen interest in the unfolding drama within the Inquisition. His efforts to acquire artifacts and specimens related to these events lead to several high-profile clashes with inquisitorial forces, further complicating an already chaotic situation. Saint Celestine finds her divine visions clouded by the upheaval within the Imperium. The living saint's appearances become less frequent but more impactful, often turning the tide in crucial battles where fractured Imperial forces face overwhelming odds. Her actions become a rallying point for those seeking to restore unity and purpose to the Imperium. Logan Grimnar, Great Wolf of the Space Wolves chapter, sees an opportunity to settle old scores with the Inquisition. The Space Wolves become more proactive in challenging inquisitorial authority, particularly in matters relating to civilian populations caught in the crossfire of galactic conflicts. This stance influences other Space Marine chapters to reassess their relationships with the Inquisition. Asdrubal Vecht, Supreme Lord of the Dark City of Kamara, perceives new opportunities for the Dark Eldar in the wake of the Inquisition's crisis. Raids into Imperial space increase, targeting worlds left vulnerable by the reallocation of defensive resources. The suffering inflicted during these raids adds another layer of misery to an already beleaguered Imperium. Illuminor Seras, the Necron master of biotransference, accelerates his experiments as the Imperium's attention is divided. His efforts to unravel the secrets of life itself benefit from the reduced effectiveness of inquisitorial containment protocols, leading to several Necron tomb worlds awakening ahead of schedule. Cryptman, the infamous Inquisitor known for his extreme measures against the Tyrannid threat, finds his controversial strategies re-evaluated in light of recent events. The debate surrounding his actions takes on new significance as the Imperium grapples with questions of necessity versus morality in the face of existential threats. Ravenor, the enigmatic Inquisitor, confined to a life-sustaining chair, leverages his psychic abilities to navigate the treacherous waters of inquisitorial politics. His insights prove crucial in uncovering hidden threats that seek to take advantage of the organization's momentary weakness. Mephiston, chief librarian of the Blood Angels, experiences disturbing new visions as the psychic shockwaves of the Inquisition's crisis ripple through the warp. His efforts to interpret these visions lead to closer cooperation between the Blood Angels and certain inquisitorial factions, influencing the chapter's role in future conflicts. Urian Rakarth, the dark Eldar homunculus, finds a wealth of new subjects for his twisted experiments as the Imperium struggles to protect its outlying worlds. His creations, spawned from the suffering of those caught in the crossfire of inquisitorial conflicts, add new horrors to the already nightmarish arsenal of Kamara. Anva, the master of the Undying Spirit and figurehead of the Tau Empire, seizes upon the Imperium's disarray to push for more aggressive expansion. His propaganda efforts, portraying the Tau as a stable alternative to Imperial rule, gain traction in some human sectors, particularly those disillusioned by recent revelations about the Inquisition. Vero Tigurius, chief librarian of the Ultramarines, plays a crucial role in interpreting the psychic aftermath of the Inquisition's crisis. His insights guide Primarch Guilliman's strategies, helping to mitigate some of the worst consequences of the upheaval and identifying opportunities for positive change within the Imperium. As these varied characters and factions react to and influence the unfolding events, the galaxy finds itself in a state of flux. The ripple effects of the Inquisition's transformation touch every corner of the Imperium and beyond, setting the stage for new conflicts, alliances, and paradigm shifts that will shape the future of the Warhammer 40,000 universe for millennia to come. Within the labyrinthine narrative of the Inquisition's secrets lie layers of symbolism and thematic depth that resonate throughout the Warhammer 40,000 universe. These elements serve as a mirror, reflecting the broader themes of the setting while simultaneously delving into the uniquely complex nature of the Inquisition itself. Corruption and purity stand as twin pillars in the Inquisition's ideological foundation. The constant vigilance against taint, both physical and spiritual, symbolizes humanity's eternal struggle against forces that seek to undermine it from within. This duality manifests in the perpetual conflict between radical and Puritan factions, each embodying different approaches to preserving humanity's essence. Knowledge, portrayed as both salvation and damnation, permeates every aspect of the Inquisition's existence. The organization's role as keeper of forbidden lore represents the double-edged nature of information in a universe where ignorance often equates to safety. This paradox reflects broader themes of technological regression and the dangers of unchecked scientific advancement that define the Imperium's stagnant culture. Sacrifice emerges as a central motif in the Inquisition's operations. The willingness to condemn millions to save billions encapsulates the harsh realities of life in the 41st millennium. This theme extends beyond mere numbers, delving into the personal sacrifices made by inquisitors who must abandon conventional morality in service to a greater cause. Paranoia and trust form a complex interplay within inquisitorial ranks. The necessity of secrecy breeds an atmosphere of constant suspicion, mirroring the broader imperial culture of fear and distrust. Yet, this very paranoia paradoxically necessitates deep bonds of trust between those who must work together in the shadows, creating a tension that drives much of the Inquisition's internal dynamics. Humanity's potential for both greatness and depravity finds stark expression in the Inquisition's history. The organization serves as a microcosm of the human condition, showcasing incredible acts of heroism alongside moments of abject cruelty. This duality reflects the wider theme of humanity's struggle to maintain its soul in a universe hostile to its very existence. Time and stagnation intertwine in the symbolism surrounding the Inquisition. The weight of millennia bears down upon the organization, much as it does upon the Imperium as a whole. Ancient oaths and long-forgotten purposes clash with the need for adaptation, embodying the broader conflict between tradition and progress that defines much of the Warhammer 40,000 setting. Illumination amidst darkness serves as a powerful visual and thematic element. The inquisitorial rosette, a symbol of authority and truth, stands out against the grim backdrop of a galaxy plagued by war and deception. This imagery reinforces the Inquisition's self-perceived role as a beacon of order in a chaotic universe, while also hinting at the blinding nature of unquestioned faith. Martyrdom permeates the tales of legendary inquisitors. Their willingness to sacrifice everything, including their lives and very souls, for the greater good of humanity reflects the cult of martyrdom that underpins much of imperial culture. These stories serve to inspire future generations while also questioning the true cost of such absolute devotion. Duality in nature characterizes many aspects of the Inquisition. The organization exists both within and outside the traditional power structures of the Imperium, embodying law while often operating beyond its constraints. This dual nature mirrors the complex character of the Emperor himself, at once a rotting corpse and a living god. Secrets and revelations form the core of the Inquisition's narrative. The gradual uncovering of hidden truths serves as a metaphor for humanity's quest for understanding in a universe filled with mysteries. Each revelation brings with it new questions, reflecting the never-ending nature of the search for knowledge and its consequences. Duty and free will clash constantly within inquisitorial philosophy. The absolute commitment to humanity's protection often comes at the cost of individual agency, both for the inquisitors themselves and those under their jurisdiction. This conflict echoes the broader themes of authoritarianism and the cost of security prevalent throughout the Imperium. Symbols of authority, such as the inquisitorial seal, carry immense weight in the narrative. These icons serve as focal points for the themes of power, responsibility, and the burdens of leadership. The respect and fear inspired by these symbols mirror the complex relationship between the Imperium's citizenry and its ruling institutions. Purification through fire emerges repeatedly in inquisitorial imagery and actions. The cleansing flame represents both destruction and renewal, reflecting the organization's role in rooting out corruption and forging a stronger Imperium from the ashes of the old. This symbolism ties into broader themes of rebirth and the cyclical nature of history present in the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Moral ambiguity permeates every level of the Inquisition's operations. The necessity of making difficult choices in the name of a greater good blurs the lines between hero and villain, forcing readers and characters alike to grapple with complex ethical dilemmas. This ambiguity reflects the grimdark nature of the setting, where traditional notions of good and evil often fall short. The unknown and the unknowable loom large in inquisitorial lore. The organization's encounters with forces beyond human comprehension serve to highlight themes of cosmic horror and the insignificance of humanity in the face of an indifferent universe. This element ties into the Lovecraftian influences present throughout the Warhammer 40,000 setting. Transformation, both physical and spiritual, plays a significant role in many inquisitorial tales. The changes wrought upon individuals by their experiences within the organization serve as a metaphor for the transformative nature of knowledge and power. This theme extends to the Inquisition itself, as it adapts and evolves in response to new threats and revelations. Isolation characterizes the life of an inquisitor, symbolizing the burden of knowledge and responsibility. This solitude reflects broader themes of alienation and the loss of humanity prevalent in many aspects of life in the 41st millennium. The contrast between this isolation and the Inquisition's role in protecting humanity adds depth to the organization's symbolic significance. Cycles of rise and fall permeate the Inquisition's long history. Periods of increased influence and effectiveness give way to times of doubt and deterioration, mirroring the ebb and flow of power within the broader Imperium. This cyclical nature serves as a reminder of the transient nature of authority and the constant struggle required to maintain order in a chaotic galaxy. Through these interwoven themes and symbols, the story of the Inquisition's secrets becomes more than just a tale of shadowy operatives and hidden truths. It evolves into a complex tapestry that reflects the very essence of the Warhammer 40,000 universe, a realm where hope and despair, knowledge and ignorance, duty and free will clash in an eternal struggle for the soul of humanity. Reflecting on the labyrinthine history and complex nature of the Inquisition, one cannot help but feel a sense of awe mixed with trepidation. This enigmatic organization, born from necessity and shaped by millennia of conflict, stands as a testament to humanity's resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. At its core, the Inquisition embodies the harsh realities of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. In a galaxy beset by threats from within and without, the existence of such an organization seems almost inevitable. Their methods, often brutal and morally ambiguous, raise uncomfortable questions about the price of survival in a hostile universe. One might argue that the Inquisition represents the very best and worst of humanity. Their unwavering dedication to the protection of mankind showcases the species' capacity for self-sacrifice and duty. Inquisitors willingly shoulder burdens that would break lesser individuals, making decisions that condemn millions to save billions. This level of commitment is both admirable and terrifying. However, the extreme measures employed by the Inquisition also highlight humanity's potential for cruelty and paranoia. The willingness to sacrifice entire worlds on mere suspicion of corruption speaks to a deep-seated fear that permeates imperial society. One must wonder if such actions, no matter how well-intentioned, ultimately serve to protect humanity or slowly erode its very soul. The internal conflicts within the Inquisition, particularly between radical and Puritan factions, mirror broader philosophical debates about means and ends. Can one use the tools of the enemy without becoming the enemy? This question lies at the heart of many inquisitorial operations and serves as a compelling point of discussion for fans of the franchise. Perhaps one of the most intriguing aspects of the Inquisition is its role as keeper of forbidden knowledge. In a setting where information is both precious and dangerous, the organization walks a razor's edge between enlightenment and damnation. This duality raises fascinating questions about the nature of progress and the cost of ignorance in the face of existential threats. The secrecy surrounding the Inquisition adds layers of intrigue to the already rich tapestry of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Every revelation about their origins or hidden agendas opens up new avenues for storytelling and speculation. This air of mystery keeps the faction fresh and exciting, even after decades of lore development. From a narrative perspective, the Inquisition serves as an excellent vehicle for exploring the darker aspects of the setting. Through the eyes of Inquisitors, we can delve into conspiracies, uncover ancient secrets, and confront the most terrifying enemies the galaxy has to offer. This versatility makes them a favorite subject for both official publications and fan creations. One cannot discuss the Inquisition without addressing its controversial nature within the fandom. Debates about the necessity and morality of their actions have raged for years, with passionate arguments on both sides. This ongoing discussion speaks to the depth and complexity of the faction, as well as its ability to provoke thought and emotion among fans. Personally, I find the Inquisition to be one of the most compelling elements of the Warhammer 40,000 setting. Their existence adds layers of complexity to what could otherwise be a straightforward conflict between good and evil. The moral ambiguity inherent in their operations forces readers to confront difficult questions about authority, sacrifice, and the greater good. The evolution of the Inquisition over the years reflects the changing nature of storytelling within the franchise. Early depictions often painted them as almost cartoonishly authoritarian, while more recent works have added nuance and depth to their portrayal. This growth demonstrates the franchise's ability to mature alongside its audience. One aspect of the Inquisition that I find particularly fascinating is its potential for internal conflict. The idea that such a powerful organization could be riven by ideological disputes adds a human element to what might otherwise be an impersonal institution. These internal struggles often lead to some of the most compelling narratives in Warhammer 40,000 literature. The relationship between the Inquisition and other imperial institutions provides fertile ground for storytelling. The tension between their absolute authority and the need to work within existing power structures creates interesting dynamics that can drive plots forward. This interplay between different factions adds depth to the political landscape of the Imperium. From a world-building perspective, the Inquisition serves as an excellent plot device for introducing new elements to the setting. Their wide-ranging investigations can uncover lost technologies, forgotten histories, or emerging threats, constantly expanding the boundaries of the known universe. This flexibility allows writers to keep the setting fresh and exciting. One critique one might level at the Inquisition is the potential for overuse. Their involvement in so many aspects of Imperial life can sometimes strain credibility or lead to narrative repetition. However, skilled writers have shown that there are still plenty of new stories to tell about this secretive organization. The iconic imagery associated with the Inquisition, from the ominous inquisitorial seal to the diverse and often bizarre appearances of individual inquisitors, contributes greatly to the visual aesthetics of Warhammer 40,000. These striking visuals help to cement the faction's place in the imaginations of fans and creators alike. As the setting continues to evolve, particularly with recent developments like the return of Primarch Roboute Guilliman, it will be interesting to see how the Inquisition adapts. Their reaction to shifting power dynamics within the Imperium could lead to fascinating new storylines and character arcs. Ultimately, the Inquisition stands as a mirror to the Warhammer 40,000 universe itself, complex, morally ambiguous, and endlessly fascinating. Whether one views them as necessary guardians or dangerous fanatics, their impact on the setting cannot be denied. They embody the grim darkness of the far future where there is only war and the laughter of thirsting gods. In conclusion, the Inquisition remains one of the most thought-provoking and divisive elements of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. Their actions and motivations provide endless fodder for discussion, debate, and creative exploration. As long as there are secrets to uncover and heresies to purge, the Inquisition will continue to captivate fans and spark imaginations across the galaxy. As we draw the veil closed on our exploration of the Inquisition's secrets, we find ourselves standing at the crossroads of revelation and mystery. The journey through the shadowy corridors of this enigmatic organization has unveiled a tapestry of complexity that defies simple categorization. From its inception in the fires of the Horus Heresy to its ongoing evolution in the face of ever-changing threats, the Inquisition stands as a testament to humanity's indomitable will to survive. Its methods, often brutal and morally ambiguous, reflect the harsh realities of a universe where the price of existence is eternal vigilance. Throughout our investigation, we've witnessed the multifaceted nature of the Inquisition. It serves as both shield and sword for the Imperium, protecting humanity from external threats while ruthlessly excising corruption from within. This duality lies at the heart of its enduring fascination, challenging us to grapple with difficult questions about the nature of power, sacrifice, and the greater good. The internal conflicts within the Inquisition, particularly between radical and Puritan factions, mirror broader philosophical debates that resonate far beyond the confines of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. These ideological struggles force us to confront our own beliefs about ends and means, asking us to consider at what point the cost of victory becomes too high. We've delved into the symbolic significance of the Inquisition, exploring how it embodies key themes of the Warhammer 40,000 setting. From the weight of knowledge to the burden of secrecy, from the corruption of power to the necessity of sacrifice, the Inquisition serves as a microcosm of the human condition in a hostile and unforgiving galaxy. The impact of the Inquisition extends far beyond its own ranks, influencing the actions and fates of countless individuals and factions across the Imperium and beyond. From the highest echelons of imperial power to the lowliest hive worker, the shadow of the Inquisition looms large, shaping the course of human history in ways both seen and unseen. As we've discovered, the secrets of the Inquisition are not merely plot devices or background lore. They represent the beating heart of some of the most compelling narratives in the Warhammer 40,000 canon. The gradual unveiling of hidden truths, the constant threat of corruption, and the moral quandaries faced by Inquisitors provide fertile ground for storytelling that challenges and engages audiences. The evolution of the Inquisition over decades of real-world development reflects the growth and maturation of the Warhammer 40,000 setting itself. What began as a relatively straightforward concept has blossomed into a nuanced and multi-layered faction that continues to captivate fans and spark passionate debates. Looking to the future, the role of the Inquisition in shaping the destiny of the Imperium remains as crucial as ever. As new threats emerge and old enemies return, the need for vigilant guardians standing against the darkness has never been greater. Yet, as we've seen, the price of this vigilance is high, and the line between protector and oppressor is often blurred. The personal stories of individual Inquisitors, from legendary figures like Eisenhorn and Ravenor to the countless unnamed agents operating in the shadows, remind us of the human element at the core of this vast and impersonal institution. These tales of temptation, sacrifice, and unimaginable burdens humanize the Inquisition, making its triumphs and failures all the more poignant. As we conclude our journey through the veiled history of the Inquisition, we're left with more questions than answers. This, perhaps, is the true power of the organization's mystique. The secrets we've uncovered only hint at greater mysteries lurking beyond our understanding, fueling the imagination and driving us to delve deeper into the rich lore of Warhammer 40,000. The Inquisition, in all its terrible glory, stands as a mirror to our own world. It challenges us to consider the price of security, the nature of authority, and the fine line between necessary action and unjustifiable excess. In doing so, it transcends its fictional origins to become a lens through which we can examine our own societies and beliefs. For fans of Warhammer 40,000, the Inquisition represents an enduring source of fascination and debate. Its secrets, both those revealed and those still hidden, will continue to inspire creative works, fuel discussions, and drive the narrative forward into new and unexplored territories. As we step back from our close examination of the Inquisition, we're reminded of the vastness of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. This organization, for all its power and influence, is but one thread in the grand tapestry of the setting. Yet, it is a thread that, when pulled, unravels mysteries that span millennia and light years. In the grim darkness of the far future, where there is only war, the Inquisition stands as a bulwark against the encroaching night. Its methods may be questionable, its motives often inscrutable, but its dedication to humanity's survival remains unquestionable. As long as threats to the Imperium exist, the Inquisition will endure, its agents ever vigilant, its secrets ever tantalizing. And so we leave the shadowy realm of inquisitorial secrets with a mixture of awe, trepidation, and an insatiable hunger for more knowledge. The story of the Inquisition, like the organization itself, is never truly finished. It continues to evolve, to surprise, and to challenge us, ensuring its place as one of the most compelling elements of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. As we close this chapter, we invite you, the audience, to carry forward the torch of inquiry. delve into the lore, question the established truths, and forge your own path through the labyrinth of inquisitorial mysteries. For in the end, it is our collective imagination and passion that keeps the flame of the Imperium burning bright against the encroaching darkness of the void. Remember, in a universe where knowledge is power, guard it well. The secrets of the Inquisition await those brave enough to seek them out, but beware, for in the pursuit of truth, one may find more than they bargained for. The path of the Inquisitor is never easy, but for those with the will to walk it, the rewards and the dangers are beyond measure.